to it. And this is the delicate part.
You're making popcorn too?
Over here, yeah. Good sound effect. All right, so we're gonna lay this trout right on top. Any of this extra filling, pop it right in.
Okay.
All right. And the nice thing about when you're cooking fish with skin, always, certainly with trout, they always have that kind of, a little film on them. Rinse them really well. Use a towel to dry them off. A little bit of salt helps to kind of pull out any moisture because when you want that nice crispy skin, a little bit of salt or a little bit of olive oil, and we're ready to go in the oven.
Okay. And what degrees do you have that on?
I've got this set at 400.
Okay.
Certainly, if you're cooking other things to go with it, if you've only got one oven, you're just going to have to allow a little bit more cook time.
Okay.
Internal temperature, a thermometer, kitchen thermometer, everybody should have one. It's a great thing to have in your drawer. That way you can always make sure your steaks are cooked properly, fish. I cook anything stuffed, I cook to about 150.
Okay.
And as you pull it out, it'll continue to kind of finish and cook there. But everything that went inside is pretty much fully cooked. All right. So while that's cooking, we're going to show you how to bone out the trout.
Awesome.
So rainbow trout, certainly you want to dress them once you've caught them and and get them packed on ice. The fresher the better. When you're boning things out, it just helps everything kind of loosen up. All right, so super sharp paring knife. I stay small, especially with a small fish.
With a trout, yeah.
Obviously larger fish, you're gonna want a bigger knife, but paring knife does really well with a nice thin point to it. Okay. So we're gonna start. We're going to just go along the spine, kind of like you would with a salmon, where you're going to separate the spine. You don't want to go too deep. And then you're going to go right towards that lower fin, and you'll spread it out.
Nice.
All right, and then we'll do the same with the other side. And if you're more comfortable to, I'm using my knife to go under the spine at this point. If you're more comfortable using it going up the top, that's perfectly fine too. It's just wherever you're comfortable.
Okay.
And you don't have to be too delicate with it. It's not going to hurt anything. All right.
So now
or anything. We've seen that this spine has kind of been freed out here. It's just flopping around. So just run your knife, and there's a few of those that dorsal fin has some bones that run through. Ultimately, what'll happen is we'll be able to pull those completely out. So we can see here, and let's pull this way so the camera can see a little bit. Yeah. All right. So now all we're going to do is we're going to lift and kind of use our knife and just kind of separate everything as we go here. And then just use your knife and just free it out. Yeah. All right. And little pieces of flesh like this are perfectly fine. It's all gonna cook up the same way. So you've got your rib bones here. Just use your knife and run it all the way up. And just like filleting a salmon, it's just on a smaller scale, right? Yeah. All right. And separate those and do the same on the other side.
Same on the other side.
And I typically move the fish around, just so that I can figure out what works best for me as far as angles go. Nice small strokes helps too, so that you're not, gouging in. If you make any mistakes, it's not a big deal. Okay. Commercially, when restaurants buy trout, you can buy them this way. You spend quite a bit more money doing it. Yeah, I wonder. Buying them that way, but it's definitely nice to serve to your guests that you don't have to worry about them getting bones. These are little fishbone tweezers. You can buy them off Amazon. These are made in Japan. They're great, especially for trout bones. But we use them for salmon. I've used them for lingcod. And all you're going to do is you're just going to pull those little pin bones out. Yeah, those are those suckers that everybody complains about, right? Yeah, and these, these left in tweezers work so much better than a pair of needle nose pliers, in my opinion. Okay. Especially with smaller, more delicate fish. And just run your finger back, and you can find out where any of those extra little bones are and just remove those. And we'll do the same on the other side.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear that popping?
Yeah, it's starting to make some noise in there. Should be delicious. I can smell it already too.
Yeah, it smells awesome. Yeah.
You know, and this is
Delicious.
certainly if you've got a bunch of trout, you know, you've limited out over the weekend, and you know you're gonna end up putting some of the fish in the freezer. Do this before you put them in the freezer. You know, and I find too that if you do this and then you
That way you can just pull them.
Yeah, put them in water in a gallon Ziploc bag and freeze them in that water. They'll actually stay super fresh, and you know they'll look like you've just caught them once you thaw them out.
Well, that's a good idea.
All right, so I'll move this out of the way, and I think we're ready to check that fish. It's been about 10 minutes or so. Let's see how it looks.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yum.
Okay, so you know, as in with restaurants, typically if we roast things on Douglas fir or on a plank or something unique, we like to serve a little bit of that with it, just so that you get the smell of it as it hits the table. But it's a visual and it looks great, and you know, it's not necessarily edible, but it makes a great presentation.
I think Tommy might eat it if you serve him. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to just put a little towel down, and that way we don't have to travel too far here. All right. So I've got a fish spatula. Any spatula will really work.
Okay.
Just you want to get up underneath that whole fish. It's a large one here. So.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just transfer it over. A little bit of melted butter would even be good on this.
Yes.
Just, you know, but there's so much
Finish it off.
flavor that's going on here. Even just another little squeeze of lime over the top, or serve it with a lemon wedge.
Yeah. So in the restaurant, would you serve that with asparagus or something like that?
We would certainly do vegetable, because there is, you know, you've got meat inside of, you know, fish.
Right.
We've got the corn, asparagus. This time of year would be perfect.
Okay.
You know, I would probably put a potato with it, just because there's so much in there already.
Right.
But you know, even a little bit of charred broccoli. You could throw broccoli in that pan raw,
in the same pan.
Cook at the same time.
Okay.
So, well, here we go.
Well, yeah.
How's it look?
It looks awesome. It smells so delicious.
Perfect. So we've got our chorizo and hominy stuffed rainbow trout.
Okay. Well, we're done here in the kitchen, so we might as well just throw it back to you guys in the studio.